Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Inside Stylists Podcast. I'm Emma Morton-Turner, but most people call me Emma MT, and I'm an interior stylist, writer, blogger, and now finally podcaster. I'm going to introduce you to this podcast. I'm going to let you know a little bit about what you can expect, and hopefully it will be of super interest to you. So my story will be in episode 2 of how I became an interior stylist, but I'll just give you a very brief background. I've been working as an interior stylist for nearly 17 years. I have an editorial background. I've worked in magazines for quite a lot of those 16, 17 years. I was the home editor on Woman and Home for 5 years, and I've been freelance for the last 6 years. I probably spend about 60 to 70% of my time doing Christmas. I have 2 daughters who are regularly heard saying, "Oh, it's always Christmas in our house." I start Christmas in March and it goes right through till December. So the reason I started this podcast was it's been a journey. And the journey started with a Facebook group, which I started in January 2016. I was doing some freelance shoots and I needed assistance to come and help me pack boxes and just kind of keep the shoot running smoothly. And I would go back to the same stylists every time to ask for their recommendations. And I'd get a few people kind of on my books, and then they'd go and get jobs and I'd need to find more. And there are lots of assistants out there. There was just no way for me to find them that was quite straightforward and easy without calling people and going around the houses. So I thought what we need is a central place for everyone to come together. And that became a Facebook group. So we had interior stylists, writers and assistants all come into this Facebook group. It's very closed and private. We don't have anyone other than us guys in there. So that essentially it was just so that we could find each other for shoots. But it's become a real community. It's very supportive, it's very positive. If someone has an issue with a courier problem, who should pay for this, that and the other when something got broken or lost or was sent to the wrong place, or maybe someone has a tax issue or wants a recommendation for an accountant, it's become very much a community of people going, "Oh, I can help you with that." And also there has been a phenomenal amount of people going, "Does anyone know the PR for KitchenAid, ceramic tiles, all sorts of things?" And there's always someone who knows, always. It's quite a big group now, so there's quite a few of us. But with this Facebook group, I discovered that there were a lot of similar issues we all had, but that the community was something that was really missing from our industry. It's really good to have a place that we can all go to together. We can have a laugh at things. I share press launches on there when I get permission first, of course. And it's basically just become a really lovely place to go and hang out. We've met people, we've kind of met people on Instagram, and if they're the right person, basically I only have stylists, assistants and writers in this group. We don't have PRs or anything in there, just so that if we need to talk about things like our rate cards, we might not want that out there in the big wide world. So we've kept it very tight. But because of this Facebook group, I found that it would be really useful to have a website. That meant that when, say a PR is doing a press launch and they've got a stylist doing the show, but they need 4 extra assistants to help take it all down at the end, they were in the same position as me. How do you find these people? And also, there was nowhere for everyone to promote themselves. So I set up a website, which is called Inside Stylists. And Inside Stylists is a place for writers, stylists and assistants to have their own portfolios and their profiles, so anyone in the big wide world can find them. And there's also a PR directory so that those PRs can make sure all their contact details are up to date. And there's another area for shoot services, which is absolutely anyone who does anything to do with shooting. So it could be set builders, couriers, prop houses, locations, locations for events, locations for shoots. All of the things that you would need for a shoot are covered. At least I think they're covered. Maybe we'll find more that we need to add as we go along. So the website has been set up, and then I just wanted to create a little bit of a conversation, and that's why I've started the podcast. Because in researching the website and seeing if it was actually going to be viable, I spoke to lots and lots of PRs, and I got a side of their work life that I had absolutely no idea went on. I had no idea how competitive it was. I had no idea what they expect from us, what they hope from press launches, how many people they hope to get, what is a win for them. And I think that's really interesting to share that information, because if we know that as stylists or writers, we can kind of help in a way that we probably can't when we don't know. So that is why the podcast has been started. So like I say, it's for anybody to do with shoots and features that are interiors based. We're all about the interiors. We are inside stylists and writers. So the podcast is going to be weekly. It's going to be running every Friday, and I'm going to do a few solo episodes where I'll probably just be talking about maybe something that I've experienced, something that I have had an issue with and I've worked out a solution. Maybe I'll do five things to do when you go to a press launch for the first time. Or maybe it's the best ways to pack up your vans or whatever it might be. I'm going to be interviewing stylists, because that was another thing I've discovered from this Facebook group, is that I come from a very editorial background, but styling covers so many different areas. It's quite unreal. And I mean, you know that people style books and magazines, and there's TV commercials, and there's TV shows. I've been doing loads of social media videos and people doing shoots for social media, because it's taken so much more seriously now. Video is king. So it kind of opened up my eyes to how, when you leave a magazine and that's all you've done, there's a whole other world out there to you, a whole other world. So there's lots of people who have different experiences. So it'll be really interesting to speak to stylists who come from different walks of life and hearing how they got into that, how they find work, how they stay on top of it. I'm hoping there's going to be lots of funny stories about things that have gone wrong, like setting fire to location houses and covering places in snow, which isn't real snow, paper snow, on a very windy day in June and having to clear it all up, or polystyrene balls that upset lots of location owners. I'm sure anyone listening who's a stylist probably knows exactly who I'm talking about. But these stories are brilliant to share, and the things that go wrong kind of teach us how not to do things in the future. So I'm hoping there'll be lots of that. I'm also going to be interviewing some experts along the way that I think are quite important to freelancers particularly, or because we're considered to be small businesses. But when you work in-house and then suddenly go freelance, I mean, when I first went freelance, I had so many questions and I didn't really know where to turn to. You make friends and you know freelancers, but you don't want to ask the same people you don't want to ask the same people questions time and time again. Everybody's busy. So I want to create a place where the questions that I had when I went freelance are there ready for you. So I'm going to be talking to tax accountants, pension experts, PRs, anyone to do with anything that might affect how you work as a stylist. And I'm hoping that's going to be really interesting. So like I said, it's going to be every Friday. And once you've listened to a few shows, I'd love to get your feedback. If you want more interviews, let me know. If you want to hear from someone specific, just drop me a line. That would be great. And if you want the show to be longer or shorter, definitely tell me that, because I can talk for all of England. So your feedback is so invaluable to me. So please drop me a line if you want to. You can contact me at emma@insidestylists.com. And all the show notes for each episode will be at insidestylist.com. So just head on over there. If I mention any links or mention any people, all the links will be found over on the podcast drop-down menu. So feel free to leave a comment below the post over on the website there. Thank you very much for listening. I look forward to catching up with you next week, and I'll speak to you then. Bye for now.